Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan,
I'm Ryan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday. And excuse me,
You already
yeah,
choked
good luck.
up. This movie,
Yeah,
such an emotional movie.
yeah, so sad. It made me cry. I'm crying here every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this Tuesday's episode, I want to talk to you about our Patreon. If you go over to patreon.com/drive-in double feature podcast, you can hear Ryan yell at me. That's all he does. He just takes the time just to yell and berate me over there. So if that sounds like fun to you, spend $5 a month and you help support that.
I only
Uh,
give you what you deserve.
Exactly. That's why I love it so much. Uh, but let's get into this week's movies. And we're going to start off with The Pride of the Yankees from 1942, directed by Sam Wood. And guys, you might be like, The Pride of the Yankees? Really? Well, you know what? I thought we got in a recommendation. Bradley sent them all over. He sent like a whole mix of movies, and this one stuck out to me. We don't do sports movies that often, so why not? Let's just do it. Have we ever done a baseball
Uh,
movie before?
have we? I
I don't
don't.
know. We've done
We've
sports movies, but
we've
I
done
think it's football.
mainly football, and
Mhm.
how could you forget the swinging cheerleaders?
No, that's what I thought of, and then I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, we did The Longest Yard as
Longest yard,
well."
yeah.
But yeah, this is a Hollywood classic. It stars Gary Cooper, and Babe Ruth as himself. MGM drama. I've never seen this movie before. Of course, I've heard of it. It's a movie about Lou Gehrig, who's probably one of the most popular baseball players of all time. I forget, Ryan, did you say you'd seen this movie before?
Nope, never seen
No.
it.
Okay. Well, look at us. We're catching up on our movie history. Um, yeah, so this is a movie. I mean, like it's it's not a B movie at all. Like
No,
this
no,
is
it's definitely not.
yeah, this is just a straight just when you think of classic Hollywood drama, that's what you get here.
It's what I would consider a blueprint or like prototype
Hmm.
sports movie.
Yes.
It's I, in my opinion, like it feels very basic, but
Hmm.
but then you have to kind of put yourself in that context of like, it's like, no, they really didn't make sports dramas like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it while it doesn't seem very original, but then you're like, oh, well, probably for 1942, this was probably original.
No, and it probably blew people away, I'm sure. I mean, obviously it did. It's kind of stuck around for a long time. It's a movie that people still bring up. Gary Cooper's big break. This is where it all started, people. I'm just kidding. No, it's a huge Hollywood star, even up until this point. Playing Lou Gehrig, playing playing college
Well,
age Lou Gehrig, and
well,
he's older at this point.
yeah, he's like in his late 30s, early 40s, I think.
Mhm.
So he's right around the age where like Lou Gehrig was when Lou Gehrig died.
Yeah, exactly. When he gets to the stages where he's older, I think it starts to work correctly. Um, so this movie, it
Oh,
really. Oh, go ahead.
no, I wanted to ask you what is your do you have a strong opinion of Gary Cooper?
Not really. I like him. I don't think he's the best actor. Especially for those times. I think there's other actors that I think have a better ability, but I think he makes up for it in likability. I think I just like seeing him. I think he's a cool dude. He never puts in a bad performance.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like probably like his truly great performance, is probably High Noon,
Yes,
but
yeah, but that's like
but
late, like Twilight career Gary
yeah,
Cooper.
that's 10 years after this movie.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
uh, but yeah, I agree though. I've never thought like he's an incredible actor, but the movies I've seen him in, it's always been like, I like this guy. He's got some
He's got a
nice charm.
personality.
He's
Yeah.
got some charm to him.
Exactly, and that's why I think he works in this role. He plays it well, and like I said, I wouldn't say he does anything amazing. Like it's not. I like how you said like you got to think of it in the context of the times because I'm sure somebody that only watches new movies would look at this and expect like a Daniel Day-Lewis, like, oh, I matched all the mannerisms and the way Lou Gehrig talks and everything. No, I mean Gary Cooper's playing Gary Cooper.
You don't really spend that much of him like in his like him when he found out that he had ALS. Like
Yeah,
it's very that's very late in the movie. Like that's like in the last quarter of the movie, I would say.
that's what I thought was interesting about this movie. This movie really leans more into the drama, the family drama, that side of everything. Because we see him as a young boy, and he's a son of immigrants, and his mom really wants him to be an engineer, but he's really good at baseball. He's really good at hitting baseballs. I guess Lou Gehrig in real life wasn't like the best baseman. I guess he was fine, but like his power was really in hitting. And the movie really shows that. I love the one shot of him as a kid and he's playing baseball and he hits the home run and breaks the window. Did you notice that the kid does not hit the ball, but the ball is thrown from behind the camera? So he
No, I did
swings,
not.
he misses, and then somebody in behind the camera throws a ball. Like you can see it's like a mile away. I love it.
Not meant to seen in widescreen.
No widescreen, perfect picture, clear quality. That's another. We always talk about that all the time. How sometimes these movies, like you got to also take that with a grain of salt because it's not how it's meant to be seen.
The thing I noticed with him as a little kid, they do like a little bit where they're like, it's like, oh, what's this? They're like, oh, that's a Babe Ruth rookie card, and they're like, oh yeah, he's a rookie. What a nobody.
Nah, no, he's a nobody, and we're supposed to be like, oh, haha, those little idiot kids.
But I aligned. But was Lou Gehrig a fan of Babe Ruth growing up?
I don't know. That was my question. A lot of this movie was like, how much of this is even remotely true? Like I know he got ALS or whatever, and like the end is true, his final speech, but like his childhood, his family, him getting married, I want to know how much of that is like real, and I doubt a lot of it is.
Do you think Uncle Otto is a real person?
I hope so. Yeah, Uncle Otto's the picture on the wall. It's like you need to be like Uncle Otto. Um, yeah, him and his mom have a really, really close relationship. Like
Mm-hmm.
he calls her, "You're my best girl, ma," and she just wants what's best for him. But I don't. She doesn't want to see him with any other girl. It's just
Mm-mm.
those two. It's that kind of relationship, and the dad's kind of like bumbling. I actually liked them. I liked their family quite a bit. I thought they were pretty good. They're caricatures, but they kind of work with the movie.
But yeah, they go for it's like the jazz singer where they're like, oh, I just want you to be an engineer. And then when she finds out he's a baseball player, like, how could you do this to me? Like,
Yeah, I know. It's like it's the end. I love that reveal because like like the people are like showing the newspaper, like, you didn't read the newspaper? Your son's doing great. And she's like, oh my God, we need to talk outside. Like, or no, sorry, it's like nobody leaves. I need to talk to you right here. um,
well, yeah. And when he gets signed to the, because you said like he's like a decent college ball player, I guess. And
yeah,
but then all of a sudden they're like, I I guess like the sports writer like had
hypes
like
him up, right?
yeah, and then he's just like, you want to join the Yankees? And they're
Yeah.
like, what?
Huh?
It's very, very sudden.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how it went because he was. I want to know. I hope Lou Gehrig did this, but there's that whole fraternity scene where they're making fun of him for like flirting with a girl, and he like slides down the table to attack the guy, and then the Yankee, the dude that's trying to sign him, he like throws him out the damn door, like picks him up, throws him out the door, and then it's like no, it's like, oh, we need to get reintroduced, okay? That's not like if someone threw me out the door, I'd be like, no, I'm out of here. It wouldn't be like a quick, like, oh,
I,
misunderstanding. I'm so sorry.
well, if the guy was a good enough ball player, you'd put up with it.
You're probably right. And that's probably why they did. And he just becomes the legend very quickly, becomes a part of the Yankees. And
Yeah. He kind of like he stumbles a little bit, like
I guess you're right.
he does like the he once he starts playing, they're like, "All right, Gehrig, this is your shot. Get in there." And then he slides on the bats, which they were not. It looked like he intentionally ran on the bats, like
Yes,
not that it
yeah.
was like the oh no, like I just slipped on this one bat I didn't see. It was just a complete row of bats,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Let me run on top of these
I
bats."
think I can run over the bats. And they're like, oh, all the new kids do that.
Old Tanglefoot
Tanglefoot, and that will curse him for the
haunt
rest of
him.
his life.
That's his big tragedy that he went through.
Yeah, Tanglefoot. That's what he had to overcome. But he also gets hit in the head with a baseball in that scene too. And I'm like, I mean, getting hit with a baseball in the head, that's not something he was ready just to keep going. But
Yeah,
that just foreshadows he did play 2000 over 2000 consecutive games, and I get that's something they really work out in this movie, is showing that he persevered no matter what. He couldn't take a vacation, he had to play every game.
yeah. He kind of starts out as like a team player, and but his dedication, because Babe Ruth is the one that has like all the fame from this team at first,
Yes, yeah.
and I was wondering like how they were gonna like how Babe Ruth was gonna be like involved in this movie, because I that's one thing I did know about this movie before I
Hmm.
saw, is that Babe Ruth played himself in the movie,
Hmm.
and Babe Ruth was, I guess, kind of like, well, how would you describe him as a character in this movie? Like, you're just very
he he's kind
short
of
tempered.
he's kind of a dick. That's the best
Yeah,
way. I actually was going to ask you about that because I thought it was really interesting. They got Babe Ruth to be in this movie to play himself, and he's not playing a nice version of himself. Like there's that scene where he's playing it to the media. There's like a sickly kid in bed. He's like, I'm gonna hit a home run for you, kid. All right, and you make the choice. Do you want left field, center field, or right field? And the kid doesn't get to say anything, and he said, "Oh, center field. Okay, sounds good, boy." And it's like, really, he's allowing himself to play like that. That's gonna be how he's gonna be forever remembered. Like, kind of an asshole.
now, okay, this is gonna sound a little mean.
Hmm.
Do you do you do you do you do you think that sick kid was just a little too ungrateful? Like, it was just like,
I no, I know, I get it. I get it. Like to be like, because Gary Cooper shows up and is like, and Gary Cooper's like, you know what? I'll hit a home run for you. And little Timmy there asks for a home run, and then he's like, no, can you do two home runs for me? So little Timmy here is
like
asking for three home runs in a game.
he's asking for 3 home runs in his name, and it's during the World Series.
Yeah, and I think like it's the ninth inning, right? Whenever he hits that final home run for him, he almost ruins Lou Gehrig's game because Lou Gehrig is striking out the whole game because he can't hit that second home run.
Well, they even say like even the coach is like, "Hey, just we don't need a home. I just need you to get a single. Like, I just need
Oh
you to
yeah,
get to first base, because
they were gonna
after that,
force him, right?
well, yeah, because they were trying to get him to walk,
Hmm.
and they only need to get him a single, but he's just like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna hit this homer and just
And if he didn't hit a home run, you know how much shit he would be in? Excuse my language, people.
yeah, no, he would have killed that kid on the spot.
That's how it would go. That kid would have no will to live. If he missed the home run, that kid would be like, "Well, all right, I guess I'm not getting up." Because spoilers, he comes up at the end of the movie and he's like, "Lou, I'm good now. I made it because you hit those home runs. I'm a baseball player now."
He said, "Look who's healthy and look who's sick now, Lou."
Lou, you could, yeah, that interaction's so weird because Lou doesn't even like, he doesn't really give a good reaction. I don't think it's not like you would expect from a Hollywood movie. It's like, oh, you know what? You gave me hope. You gave me positivity. No, Lou Gehrig still looks like sickly and sad at that point.
Yeah, it's like, okay, kid, great. Well, I got my own problems I'm dealing with here.
Yeah, we all knew you were gonna be okay. Uh,
You're faking it the whole time anyway.
yeah, you just wanted to hit me to hit some home runs.
uh, but yeah, like going back to what we said, like Babe Ruth, like he's like you said, he's like real, like he doesn't really seem like he cares for like the
Mhm.
sick kid, and he's got like a real short temper with everybody. He's real cocky,
Yeah.
and like they even said like, how many home runs did you hit, babe? He's like, I'll just keep hitting them and you keep counting them.
Hmm.
And they do like a bit too where they keep breaking his straw hat.
Well, yeah, but the one scene in the train where they eat it, where they
Mm-hmm.
take bites of it, which and then they make Lou Gehrig eat it, and of course he gets caught by Babe Ruth, which I was like, man, I couldn't imagine putting that in your mouth in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a taste of the old babe, right?
Yeah, that's all they wanted. They were making it like a prank, but like,
Like, yeah,
yeah, they
if I eat
were,
his hat, I'll get a little bit of that skill in me.
and that's where Lou Gehrig's life turned around, and he became so good.
He stole Babe Ruth's power by
Yeah,
eating his
yeah.
hat.
Wasn't there an animated movie where like they had like Babe Ruth's hat or a baseball bat and it like made a
Oh,
kid lucky?
everybody's hero or
Yeah, that
whatever.
movie. Yeah.
And like the bat was played by like Whoopi Goldberg or
That's
something.
right. That's right. Yeah. God, that movie exists somewhere in the very back of my memory.
I haven't seen it, but I'll take your word for it. But
you don't have to
I,
watch it.
but but what I'm the finishing my point is
Yes.
that he portrays this, and you think Babe Ruth's going to be playing a big part, and they're just like, oh, Babe Ruth leaves the Yankees, but just like in a newspaper clipping.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's got a part that's bigger than a cameo, but it's not a substantial part of the movie, right? It's kind of somewhere in between. But yeah, he just leaves because they show that in like a newspaper montage. This movie is less about the sport at some point, and it starts to become more about Lou Gehrig's romance. Because he meets a girl in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
who really likes baseball. Oh, sorry, he meets a girl in Portland that he no.
every time we can't think of it, we're just gonna call it Portland.
Yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, that's where Star Wars takes
The
place.
Portland Yankees.
The Portland Yankees. Yeah, I like that. But he meets with this girl, and they just really hit it off. There's a really odd scene though, the scene where they're dancing with each other in the dance hall, and the movie like takes like a weird like shows off people dancing and like this woman singing for a little too long. It's like a little too long of a break from the movie.
That's what I didn't understand that. I was like, okay, this just feels like a little bit of padding here. Like we don't have that. We want to get exactly a 2 hour runtime here,
Yeah.
so we have to add that. Like they show the the other couple dancing for a really long time,
Yes. Yeah.
and then the lady singing, and because it's supposed to be the night where like Lou Gehrig took his wife out on a
Mhm.
date, like before they got and that was him like romancing her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then he weds her. Actually, there was one funny bit where he like gets engaged to her and asks her to marry, and like the cop is there, and like the cop's like, "What are you doing here at 4 a.m.?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Lou Gehrig," and the cop's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I really like you," which
Yeah.
isn't the first time that happened in this movie, or this isn't like the last time. That's like a common thing of Lou Gehrig just getting his way because he's famous.
How many crimes do you think Lou Gehrig committed?
He could. It seemed like he could kill somebody, and then you're like, "Oh, Lou, oh man, you can't miss the Yankees game, can you?"
Yeah, no, it would that he really became the pride of the Yankees.
He really did. I think so. Which they do say the name of the movie in this movie.
Oh yes, they do.
Okay, so that's good. Ding. Well, sorry, it's not good. Ding. Cinema sin. I hate it. Um, but there's like they get married, they get a home. This I think here, not that I didn't like the movie. I actually kind of liked it. It was fine. I loved it. It was fine. I hated it.
I kind of liked it. I loved it.
No, but the movie does once again kind of take a little break. The one scene in the house where the mom's like, "Oh, you want to buy to Lou Gehrig's future wife? Oh, you don't want to get the antique. You want to get something more practical." And she takes over the whole thing, and it's like you got to put this wallpaper up, and it's like bossing her around. And Lou has to have a talk with her. And I thought there'd be more to that where, he's like, no, you need to take a step back. She's fine in the next scene. She handles
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's a very like kind of it felt like a throwaway plot. I guess maybe it's more like, oh, I'm not bossed by my mother anymore. She's not my best girl. I broke up with my mom, guys.
Yeah, I broke up with my mom.
But everything is cool. Everything is chill between us.
We're still friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's some other funny bits, like I mentioned earlier, like the Uncle Otto thing, where they're
Mhm.
that they be like, your Uncle Otto, he was a great engineer,
Mhm.
and they keep talking about what a great engineer he is, but then once he starts becoming really good at baseball, then they start
Uh-huh. I like that.
and
Yeah.
then they start like just bad mouthing, like what about his uncle? Because he even says like, I don't know, mom, I may give up this baseball thing and try out
Yeah.
engineering. And he's like, you know how much you admire Uncle Otto. He's like, Uncle Otto, Uncle Schmato, and like he's like
Yeah.
he was just a ditch digger.
Well, yeah, and I love the scene where like Lou Gehrig hits like the home run, and they're it cuts back to the home, and they're all dancing, and and then he like flips Otto's picture
I
on the
know
wall.
I was like
I
that.
was
Damn.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I was like, I didn't see any animosity. It's like almost like Uncle Otto became the villain of the movie just because
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was funny.
I
Um,
actually kind of liked that little scene where with like the power dynamic of the marriage, because
okay.
it was kind of like a little nice break. Because I mean, one thing with this movie is there's not a whole lot of momentum pushing it forward. It's just like
Mm,
a lot of it is kind of like, look how great Lou Gehrig is. He's great. He's awesome.
mhm.
He plays a lot of games, and so I mean, really, like the center focus of the movie is kind of like the relationship between him and his wife.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they had to build that because I mean, I don't know his story well, but it's not like an underdog story where it's like, oh, is he going to make it? Is he going to do well? No, it seemed like Lou Gehrig from the start was just a really good player. So they had to figure out, okay, well, how can we make this a movie? How can we make this work as a film?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to be. There's not really a whole lot of drama like leading up to this movie. Like that scene, like I said with the mom. It's like that's like the most dramatic part of the whole movie,
Yeah,
really, and
and it's
up
not even
until
that
the end.
dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, because there's really like everyone's just like, we love Lou Gehrig. He's a
Hmm.
great guy. He's got no faults.
Yeah,
He's
he's
perfect.
nice. Yeah, he treats his wife well. There's not a scene where he treats her poorly. There's that one scene where he's like, I think we need to take a vacation from each other just for a little bit. And then almost 5 seconds later, it's like, no, I can't leave you. I can't. You need to come on the road with me. Yeah. So like there's like no drama between them. They love each other very much.
The I did like the scene. So after they had that big argument, like they get
Mhm.
married, and they're just like, let's just drop what we're doing and get married right now.
Yeah, like
And
with like the people in the house still
yeah,
renovating.
so all the contractors and handymen are still like in the house, like they're like the witnesses for the marriage, and
Hmm.
uh, like the one guy's drills like goes like, like,
Yeah, in the
oh
middle of it.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's silly moments like that. Yeah, I think like overall, it's like a silly movie until it gets to the certain point. Maybe that's part of the drive. Like, I wonder what this movie would be like if you didn't know about Lou Gehrig's disease. Like, which is probably really hard to do if you're an American. But like, let's say you were just completely not in the know, and you're like, I'm gonna watch this Pride of the Yankees movie. Let's see what's up with this. I wonder how that reveal would go because it it's quick at the end of the movie, but it does feel slow because he's an older player. It's many years later, and he's just starting to be weaker and weaker. He's not able to hit things, and his body's starting to hurt a little bit. It's like a slow reveal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And now let me ask you, so like when they do the reveal,
Hmm.
how would you have thought of this movie if they said, by the way, you have Lou Gehrig's disease?
That would have been funny.
It's like,
Um,
what?
yeah, no, it's a bad day when like they come in and the disease they're
It's
telling you
like
about is named after you. It's like,
I
oh,
got,
oh
I got some
no.
good news and some bad news. The bad news is, or the good news is, we're gonna name this thing after you. The bad news is you got this incurable disease.
Yeah, you're the only one with this disease.
They,
um
they don't ever say though he has ALS like at any
yeah,
point. They're
that's
just
what's
like
weird. They don't give it a name. They don't say, they just make he's sickly. That's
that
it.
they just use like this man is so involved in baseball. They even have to use baseball terminology in the way in the doctor's office just
I
for it to
know.
make sense to him.
Am
It's
I
like, what is
struck
it,
out, Doc?
Doc? Is it three strikes or am I going home? It's like, it's three strikes.
Yeah, those
Uh,
that scene was a little bit much because he doesn't talk that way otherwise in the movie. He can talk like a normal human being.
yeah,
Uh,
like then this very serious moment. It's like you
yeah.
can't drop the baseball
And,
lingo.
and then the doctor doesn't know baseball terminology. He's like, yeah, I guess it's a field goal kick. A, a third,
You're
a 3 point
it.
conversion. Oh god, slap shot. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're going into the penalty box.
Yeah,
It
uh,
holds up a red card.
I don't know what that is. that we'll think of. I'll go back in time and we'll do Abbott and Costello meet Lou Gehrig.
Oh God, delivering the bad news. Um, uh,
All right.
oh man. One thing I do want to say. So we haven't mentioned. So Walter, God, what's his name? Walter Brennan. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, he plays the sports writer in this movie, and
Mhm.
they have like this really odd relationship. Not that like it's weird by any chance, but they're just to me it's like it's weird that he's like friends with a sports writer. And you
Mm.
remember like he even goes to like the beach and he's there with him like,
I
hey
thought
Lou.
I thought that was so odd. It was like, yeah, we're just hanging out, and then he like he has a battle with the other sports writer that like loves Babe Ruth. That's like a subplot. But yeah, I agree because doesn't isn't the sports writer there whenever it's revealed that the disease is going to kill him?
No, yeah, the sports writer is there, and they're all kind of reacting in a certain way, and they're like, okay, we don't want this to get out to the public yet. And I forget who said it. I think the one of the other guys said to the sports writer, "It's like, oh yeah, he could cook up a story about this, like to keep it out of the press. Like, oh yeah, sure, oh I this." And it's like, so you're willing to just lie on behalf of Lou Gehrig, like you just make up some sort of like lie, like you're that much of a friend with him.
Yep, that's journalism for you, buddy. That's sports journalism. No, but I agree. And he hypes him up. He's like betting money on the side for him. He's like, yeah, I bet you $20 he hits that home run and all that stuff. That's funny. I completely forgot about that character till you brought him up. But he's like really important. He's more important than a lot of the main characters in this movie.
He's got a very big part for how little he impacts the story.
Yeah, yeah.
When they do go into like the reveal of the disease and everything like that, I mean, that's probably like I guess one of the best parts. I mean, I guess the most iconic scene is like when they recreate the
Hmm.
speech that Lou Gehrig did, where he was in Yankee Stadium, and he said, I'm the luckiest man on the face of this earth, or what, So
Really?
that's
Hmm.
yeah.
No, but no, yeah, they do recreate that, and I think it's very well done. I understand why that's like really important in this movie because I think Gary Cooper's doing a good job. I like that he says that final line, "I'm the luckiest guy on the face of the earth," and then he just steps away. He just walks away, and his wife is crying. It's good. It's impactful. The movie does a good job of setting that up as to like why it was important that he said that.
No, I really like how they end the movie where he just kind of walks off and it goes black because it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it said it all what needed to say. And this movie did get nominated for Best Picture, and it was also Gary Cooper and Teresa Wright, who plays his wife, are both nominated for Oscars.
Well, awesome. Well, we got another Oscar nominated movie on here, but for Best Picture, which we've done before. But I always think
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. Um, yeah, I'm guessing Gary Cooper and Teresa did not win that year. No.
Unfortunately, no. Of
What one
course
in
not.
what one in 42?
Oh, I'd have to look.
You don't have the 1942 Oscars memorized.
I'm close. I'm almost done. The Oscar winner that year was James Cagney for Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Oh, which you know what? I'll take my take here. Yankee Doodle Dandy is a better movie.
It is. No, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's actually Teresa. Wait, what did she win? Oh, I thought she was nominated for this movie. I guess
Oh,
not.
she wasn't. Oh, okay.
No, I guess she wasn't. But Teresa Wright did win that year, though. For oh wait, no, she was. She was nominated twice that year.
She got two nominations. That doesn't happen a lot. That's kind of crazy.
She was nominated for Pride of the Yankees for Best Actress,
Hmm.
and she was nominated and won for Best Supporting Actress for Mrs. Minerva.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that movie was like a huge contender that year. And
Yeah, that won
interesting.
Best Picture
Yeah. That's like one of the most that one's all right. That's an okay movie
that you love.
that I love. That's wonderful. One of the best of all time. But now, I mean, this movie overall, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good, just like classical movie. Like if you like movies from the 40s, I mean, this is just be right up your alley. Hits all the notes. Gary Cooper, you love to see him. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it overall. It's classic Hollywood, a little too formulaic, but I mean, like I said, context wise, I think that's forgivable.
Hmm.
So
I agree.
it's it's not something you would normally see probably back then, I guess. But now it's a little too formulaic. But back then, like I said, it was probably a newer thing. But overall, I do like this. I mean, if you like the older feel good sports movies, I guess, this would be one I would recommend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'd recommend it as well. But I do think that wraps it up for today. Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we're going to be building the pressure next week. I mean, we're hitting to our pressure point, as you could say.
Yeah, it's been
So
bad.
we're going to be yeah. So we're going to be talking about the movie Pressure Point, which is free. Well, no, it's not free actually. It's on the Criterion Channel. Pay up,
Yeah,
suckers.
yeah. Well, everybody has. It's like Netflix. Everyone's got Criterion Channel streaming, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like you go to the bar, they got Criterion movies playing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Scrolling through Criterion really quickly. But no, I'm excited to watch that one. And if you want to email us, you can email us at driveanddoublefuturepodcast@gmail.com. Email us recommendations. Look, we've been doing them. I'd love to hear your recommendations. You can also tweet at us over at X at DIDF Pod. You can also check us out on so many things, but most of all, thank you for listening. And until next time.
Until next time.